आज के मनी टॉक्स के सेक्शन में I have someone that all of you have already met and seen in person over television. She is one of the most loved sharks on Shark Tank India, Ghazal, and thank you so much, Ghazal, for joining us today for this conversation. बहुत मजा आने वाला है.
Hey, thank you for having me on the show, and I'm looking forward to a fun, relaxing conversation.
Relaxing more important. Congratulations are in order. I know a big life event has happened. This series, Ghazal, हम पैसे के बारे में बात करते हैं. Not so much about investing or anything, but frankly, जो मेरे guests आते हैं, I want to understand what is their relationship with money. So my first question almost always is, while growing up, did you grow up with a lot of money या मुश्किलों के साथ या it was somewhat okay? What was your experience growing up?
So, Ankur, my experience with money has been with a lot of ups and downs. Of course, growing up, it was an indirect relationship. But, during the first 10 years of my life, I saw a lot of money. So a very comfortable life. I used to live in a joint family. We were doing well. We had a joint business. So every need was getting taken care of. ऐसा कोई stress कभी नहीं देखा था कि पैसे नहीं है तो ये नहीं हो पा रहा है. But surprisingly, once my grandparents passed away, and this joint family was a family of 3 brothers who had to take care of all the property and all the business that they had built. Us time pe a lot of things went haywire. बहुत कुछ ऊपर नीचे हुआ. The split of property was not even, and hence typical families में जो होता है कि elder brother had the right to the will. बहुत ज़्यादा advantage ले लिया उस चीज़ का. My father and the younger brother got some property that was disputed. बहुत सारा debt आया उसके साथ. Suddenly that relationship with money changed, where पहले हम बहुत ही comfortable थे, कभी सोचते ही नहीं थे पैसे के बारे में, to suddenly realizing कि monthly खर्चा भी पूरा नहीं हो पा रहा था. Wow. So I think that was my first interaction with money, where I realized कि यार पैसा कितना ज़रूरी होता है to live your life comfortably. And that is when I saw my mother stand up as a pillar of support to my father. और वो मेरा first lesson था in terms of knowing what an asset is. So all the gold that she had collected got used at that point of time. उसको बेचा, पैसे लिए. She told me कि जितने पे खरीदा था उसका 5x return मिल गया है. We put all of that money into business. So S-curve था, पहले मनी था, वो सारा गवाया, फिर मनी अपना assets में से निकाला, बनाया, business बनाया, and touch wood, it has been okay since then. But I think I've seen both sides of life. Growing up with money, comfortable life where desires take थोड़ा सा precedence ले लेते हैं over wants, and then the second phase of life जहाँ आपकी ज़रूरतें ही नहीं meet हो रही है, let alone कि आप करना क्या चाहते हो. And during that time my mother taught me, while दोनों parents ने ensure किया कि best education मिल रहा है, उस पे कोई compromise नहीं है, हमारी ज़रूरतों पे कोई compromise नहीं है, but साथ के साथ उन्होंने ये भी सिखाया कि यार desires पे hold रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो until and unless you really don't need something, think 10 times before asking us to buy that for you. So that's how I grew up, and उसके बाद से भी पापा को बिजनेस चलाते हुए देखा था कि यार अच्छा मंथली इतना बजट चाहिए फैमिली को, उसके ऊपर जितना भी पैसा बचेगा वो वापस बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट कर देंगे. Turning profitable was again the first time that I saw my father doing it, and we celebrating it by ordering in dinner. बाहर जाने के लिए पैसे नहीं थे तो हम खाना पैक करा के घर पे लेके आए थे कि घर पे बैठ के आराम से खाएंगे. Those little lessons was something that I grew up with, that has been my base of how I deal with my money till date. So बहुत interesting, बहुत ही ऊपर नीचे वाला relationship रहा है.
That is beautiful. I love this क्योंकि ज़्यादातर लोगों का एक बहुत straight line relationship होता है. Either they don't have it or they have a lot of it or comfortably. but you're one of those few जिनके पास पहले था and then you didn't have it, so you got to see both sides, and the lessons learned from that will always be there for life. I'm particularly interested, Ghazal, in the fact कि आपने बताया 10 साल तक आपके पास पैसे थे and then suddenly you all went through a hard time. That's also the period जहाँ as a teenager बहुत सारी changes हो रही होती है हमारे साथ. Like our bodies are changing, our hormones are making things to us. We are suddenly realizing कि एक दुनिया है which is about comparison, about FOMO, about our status in society and so on. And it's a very impressionable, very sensitive time for a teenager. So, did you find yourself mostly angry that you didn't have the money, sad that you didn't have the money, jealous of others who had money? What was that overriding emotion, if you remember?
No, I very clearly remember, Ankur. For that matter, I think वो सबसे ज़्यादा crucial years थे जहाँ मैंने सबसे ज़्यादा सीखा है कि लाइफ में क्या मैटर करता है और क्या मैटर नहीं करता. You know, from having money to losing it all, and suddenly अपने friend circle में, you know, you want to go as a teenager, like you said, you want to go out for parties, you want to spend in the canteen, you have those certain special friends जिनके birthdays पे you want to give them gifts, right? But you need to have money to do that, and you don't. And the only source जहाँ से आपको पैसा मिल सकता है वो आपके parents होते हैं. And इतने rejections मिले उनसे because they would ask कि कहाँ पे spend करना है. And then my mother used to cross question कि अच्छा, do you think ये ज़रूरी है कि इसके बिना चल सकता है, right? And on a day-to-day basis, आप actually जब देखती हो अपने माँ बाप को कि यार they are working really hard to make ends meet, तो कहीं ना कहीं you are also conscious about asking something. But वो time लगता है उस चीज़ को समझने में. तो there was a time when I used to be very angry. जब मैं अपने मम्मा पापा को बोलती थी कि वो कर सकते हैं तो हम क्यों नहीं कर सकते, you know, उनके पास ये कार है, हम अभी तक मारुति 800 में क्यों घूम रहे हैं. And you know, I mean, the best lesson was, you know, she taught me then was that, see, एक गाड़ी जो होती है ना, means of transport है to take you from point A to point B. वो उसकी गाड़ी भी लेके जा रही है, वो तो आपकी गाड़ी भी लेके जा रही है ना. तो उसके बियॉन्ड आपने गाड़ी में क्या करना है? 10 मिनट स्कूल जाने तक ही स्पेंड करने हैं. व्हाई डू यू वांट अ बिगर कार, राइट? वो क्या वैल्यू ऐड करेगा? एंड उसी टाइम पे शी ऑल्सो ऑलवेज यूज टू टेल मी, उस टाइम पे बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग होता था, बट शी यूज टू टेल मी दैट एक बार जब खुद पैसा बनाना शुरू करोगे ना, तब डिसीजंस लेना कि कहाँ पे स्पेंड करना है. जब तक खुद पैसे नहीं कमा रहे हो तो हमारी परमिशन के हिसाब से चलना पड़ेगा, एंड हम आपको बताएंगे कहाँ पे स्पेंड कर सकते हो, कहाँ पे स्पेंड नहीं कर सकते हो. तो आई थिंक दैट लेसन, वो आउट ऑफ यू नो टीनेज ह्यूमिलिएशन, ईगो एंड जो मर्जी कह लो, गुस्सा था उस टाइम के यार अपने पैसे कमाने हैं, खुद स्पेंड करूंगी, जितना जल्दी हो सकता है उतनी जल्दी करूंगी. फॉर दैट मैटर, अंकुर, आई स्टार्टेड you know, taking tuitions when I was around 15-16 years. बहुत ही minimal charge करती थी. So school में I used to be a bright kid. शुरू के 15 मिनट क्लास के सारा काम कर लिया, उसके बाद my duty was to help every weak kid do their job. ठीक है, तो वो क्लास के कॉर्नर पे खड़े होके weak students के साथ अच्छा नहीं ये इसको उनको कॉन्सेप्ट समझा रही हूँ. And I actually saw that as an opportunity where जब फ्रेंड्स और रिलेटिव्स ने हेल्प मांगनी शुरू की कि हमारे बच्चे को ये टॉपिक सिखा दो, आई थॉट दिस वाज एन इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग, यू नो. ट्यूशंस तो सारे लेते हैं, सारे बच्चे ट्यूशंस जा रहे हैं, तो मैं क्यों नहीं ट्यूशन पढ़ा सकती. एंड दैट्स हाउ आई स्टार्टेड. I earned my few little pennies, right, by charging 500 rupees a month from one student and ensuring that I'm teaching them 5 days in a week and stuff. But purely driven by अपना पैसा खुद कमाओगे तो अपने decisions खुद ले पाओगे.
I love that. I think I don't know if you've already done it, but जितना आप अभी तक बता चुकी हैं Ghazal, I would love your mom to document all of these lessons and share it in some form. Like these are such invaluable lessons जो काश हर एक बच्चा सीख पाता. And of course it's circumstantial, and हर माँ बाप यही चाहता है कि वो अपने बच्चे को सबसे अच्छी और बढ़िया सीख दे, बट सर्कमस्टेंसेस कितना रोल प्ले करते हैं फॉर द राइट लेसन्स टू लैंड in our life at the right time. It's just pure luck. And I love all that your mom has taught you through the design and through the serendipity of circumstances. बहुत बढ़िया, ये तो बहुत ही बढ़िया था. तो you're like अपने पैसे, अपने decision. Do you remember anything significant you bought through the first inflow you got of money?
I do, you know. मुझे अभी भी याद है, पहले तो ये पॉकेट मनी छोटा छोटा मिलता था तो सब खुद पे स्पेंड किया. उस टाइम पे सेविंग का सोचा ही नहीं. ऐसे लगता था जो भी थोड़ी बहुत पॉकेट, you know, being able to buy that one extra dress because you can afford it, let alone the 15 clothes that your mom is buying for you. But ये मैंने खुद खरीदा है. वो फीलिंग इतनी ज्यादा अच्छी थी, इतनी, you know, it was liberating, so to say. I still remember I was still studying. I was in my first year when you know, I started feeling कि जो पैसे मिल रहे हैं that's not enough. And कॉलेज किया, कॉलेज के साथ ही एक कंप्यूटर कोर्स ज्वाइन किया जो सुबह से शाम तक होता था. तो I didn't have time to take tuitions, and you know, I was so hungry looking for more opportunities, other opportunities जहाँ से मैं पैसा कमा सकती थी. I still remember NIIT में पढ़ते हुए I came across this one opening जहाँ पे they were looking for folks who had good communication skill, who could talk well in English and who could present a presentation. तो फर्स्ट ईयर में बहुत presentations बनाई थी. Languages सीख रहे हो, every month you had to present something. तो I thought, okay, let me give it a try. Full surety थी कि होगा तो कुछ नहीं, I'm so young, but try करते हैं. And surprisingly, when I interviewed, they selected me. And I didn't even know कि वो सिलेक्शन किस चीज के लिए हुआ था. I just know कोई ओपनिंग थी, पैसा कमाने की अपॉर्चुनिटी थी, रोल क्या था, जॉब क्या था, कुछ नहीं पता था. So I went and I said, अच्छा आप बताओ करना क्या है, you know, and what is the money that's going to come, and most important. So then they told me कि अच्छा हमें basic computer skills चाहिए जैसे Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and you have to go to these organizations, a few organizations जहाँ पे लोग 40 साल 50 साल से काम कर रहे हैं. They were new to computers, so to say. They were training their employees to start using Excel and Word and all of that. So I said, this is so in my comfort area, I can do this. Let me go out. And that's how weekends pay I started taking some of these corporate trainings. That's how I became a corporate trainer, part-time, and then I took it up full-time. एंड वो पार्ट टाइम ना पर डे के हिसाब से 1200 रुपए देते थे क्योंकि सुबह 9 बजे से शाम को 5 बजे तक ट्रेनिंग होती थी. And that suddenly was a lot of money in just one weekend. Yeah. I was like, okay, more than $2,000. What else do I need in life? But I still remember, you know, जैसे मेरे को मेरे पेरेंट्स ने बड़ा किया है, the upbringing has been so emotional. I've been raised with so much love and you know, always being considerate about how your parents are thinking, how people who matter to you will think, you know, how do you want to make them feel, and finding happiness in that. तो मैं उसी value system के साथ raise हुई थी. तो मेरा, I think the first money that I made out of this job, which was like a proper weekend job, and I know कि ये consistent है, हर weekend ये opportunity आने वाली है. One, I took my mother out for shopping. Nice. My father refused to take any money from me. He was not happy with the fact that I'm doing this. He was like, "तू पढ़ने पे ध्यान दे ले भाई, कोई problem नहीं है. I have enough. That's okay." So he was a little, okay, you should focus more on your studies. Why are you doing this? What are you doing, right? But my mother, on the other hand, had always told me कि यार, even after you get married, for a woman, for a you know, for you, it's very important. If you want to take your own decisions, you need to be financially independent. And the sooner you start thinking about it, the better. आप at least आपके दिमाग में ये होना चाहिए कि how am I going to become that, so that मेरी family में अंकुर किसी ने, no woman had gone out to work ever. My mother was also the kind of person जिनको आप जितने मर्जी पैसे दे दो, more than 50% of it would go into savings. and rest of the 50% is what she is going to figure out कि अब महीने का खर्चा कैसे चलाना है, और उसमें जो चीजें आप अफोर्ड कर सकते हो, that's your standard of living. There is no discussion or argument around the fact कि वो 50% क्यों save करना है या नहीं है जरूरत. And that was instilled in me also. So the first thing that I did was take my mother out, bought her a suit. When I came back after 3 days, she returned that money because she was feeling guilty कि इतना सा तो कमाया, उसमें भी आधा मुझे दे दिया है. And you know, instead she said कि I'm giving this back to you, but I want you to save it. I want you to start thinking about saving money so that in future, if you want to make a big expense for yourself, you have some corpus. क्योंकि immediately तो कहीं से नहीं आ जाएगा, वो तो आपकी fixed income है जो आप कमा रहे हो. That will help you fulfill some of your desires. So I think that was the first lesson into moving out of needs into wants and still ensuring that you're starting to think about saving money rather than just spending it all. So again, that was, I think, my second lesson where I learned कि अच्छा आप कमाना है तो उसके बाद क्या करना है, rather than just splurging all of it.
Awesome. I love that. I love the lessons your mom. This is turning out to be a Ghazal's mom's personal finance lessons.
Oh my God. I'm also just realizing that. How much impact does she have on me?
It is endearing. It is beautiful. I love this. And the corporate training was your first formal job, right? If I understand right. And when you started earning, how old were you when you started the corporate training profession?
So part-time corporate trainer I became when I was 18. And then I got full-time into it with like languages, teaching, SQL and Java, these Warikoo, these were the hot ones at that point of time when I was, I think, 20 years old. I was the only student in my college who had written permission from the principal to skip college because I was earning money outside.
This is so cool. This is so good. Did you ask for it?
I asked for it. I went into her office. I said, see, I have got this opportunity. I want to get into it. I don't want to wait for another year. Whatever they are teaching me in the third year of computer applications, I've already learned on the other side. I can give exams. So please judge me on my performance in exams rather than number of lectures that I'm attending, because I want to use that time here. And I was the only student in the college who got this exception from her. And she still appreciates me off the charts for doing what I did then. These were few wins which gave you a lot of confidence कि यार कोशिश करोगे ना तो कुछ भी figure out कर लोगे. I don't come from like the best of schools and colleges. It's all been practical learning. It's all been life experiences, and that has shaped me to be the person I am today, or the choices, the decisions that I've made, and I'm pretty okay. अब मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि अगर if I can do it now, anybody can do it, right? You can figure it out. You just need to have that hunger to make money for yourself.
No, and it's so beautiful. I have to tell you कि I don't know how much of this you realize, Ghazal, or people tell you, but stories such as yours, which are, and I don't mean any disrespect, these are the underdog stories. Like कोई भी ना आप पे bet नहीं कर रहा होगा. It's like साधारण school, साधारण college, woman coming from a small town, first job, engineer भी नहीं है, corporate training, कहाँ क्या, and then you enter this big bad wolf startup world of this country where it's like literally dog eat dog, and it's still very male dominated. It's very, very aggressive. It's very competitive. They're only the top schools that get funded, the top cadre that get funded. Your story is going to serve as inspiration for so many people who don't have that rare degree or that rare pedigree that you often find. And इसलिए मैं अक्सर ये बोलता हूँ कि, of course, celebrate entrepreneurship. it's such a wonderful thing, and it's such a great profession that teaches you so much. But more importantly, celebrate the stories of people who had the courage and the audacity to pursue it despite all odds. आप तो successful हैं, which gives it even more reason to be celebrated. But there's so many people who find remote, mediocre, or let's say not so comparable success, yet are happy with their decisions. And उनकी कहानी unfortunately कभी हमें सुनाई नहीं देती, कभी जहन में नहीं आती, because it's just lost in the crowd. So thank you for being so open about your story and sharing it with the level of confidence and with the level of self-awareness that you do. क्योंकि कोई तो बाहर है, कोई नहीं, मैं तो कहूँगा कि बहुत लाखों करोड़ों लोग बाहर हैं जो आपकी कहानियां सुन के are drawing that level of courage that they need in their life. Sorry, deviation, but I wanted to acknowledge that.
No, thank you so much. For that matter, I also want to tell them that mamaearth successful हुआ, but mamaearth से पहले भी 2-3 चीजें try की जो massively fail हुई. It's not like this was the first time and I hit it right. Learning journey काफी रही है. And eventually, I think the reason why I succeeded with mamaearth was because उसको start करने का reason ना पैसा नहीं था. उसको start करने का reason था my own son who was going through a problem and I wanted to solve that for all the babies out there. बहुत बुरी तरह से रोता था because जब भी मैं उसको नहला के कपड़े पहनाती थी उसकी बॉडी पे रैशेस हो जाते थे. और मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि ये क्यों हो रहा है. एंड all in the quest of figuring out कि क्या हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है, अच्छा ये क्यों सूट करता है, ये क्यों सूट नहीं करता. बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स से बात किया, बहुत सारे डॉक्टर से बात किया और बहुत ही ईजी से सॉल्व निकल के आया गया. कुछ इंग्रेडिएंट्स हैं जो कि हार्मफुल होते हैं, वो बेबीज के स्किन पे यूज ही नहीं होने चाहिए और आउटसाइड ऑफ इंडिया तो बैंड है. इंडिया में कोई रेगुलेशन ही नहीं थी अराउंड सेफ्टी ऑफ यूजिंग दोज इंग्रेडिएंट्स ऑन न्यूबॉर्न बेबीज. तो जब आप अपने बच्चे को रोते हुए देखते हो ना inconsolably and you're a new mom, you end up feeling guilty about everything that goes wrong with the baby. आपको अगर आप फिगर आउट नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो आपको ऐसा लगता है कि आप फेल हो गए हो इसमें. You don't know. And I still remember I used to tell Varun, I said babies need to come with manuals. मुझे क्या पता ये क्यों रो रहा है या इसको क्या हो रहा है. कोई सेल्फ हेल्प बुक भी नहीं है जिसको मैं पढ़ के समझ पाऊँ what's happening. But yeah, that pain that hurts you from inside. तो उसकी शक्ल देख के ऐसे लगता था कि यार गिव अप करने का तो ऑप्शन एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता ना, ये तो फिगर आउट करना ही पड़ेगा. When my husband and who's also my co-founder generally asked me कि कोई नहीं कर रहा है तो तू कर ले, ट्राई तो कर. एंड पहले करा था एक बिजनेस, फेल हुई थी उसमें, तो he just passed a comment in the going कि ट्राई तो करो. And I said, okay, I wore a research hat. I said, let me figure this out. Once I had full confidence कि doable है, the first person that I convinced to get on board with me was him. वो मतलब first lesson था entrepreneurship में कि आपका vision है, now you have to convince somebody else to have that vision. वरुण के केस में बहुत easy था because he was going through it himself. But yeah, that's how I got my co-founder.
The rest is history. No, not as easy. मतलब यही होता है, दूर से तो लगता है कि अरे वाह, पति पत्नी ने start किया and the next thing they know it's such a great success, everything is happening. And of course I'm sure there were a lot of periods of uncertainty and struggle which both of you managed so commendably well. I'm particularly fascinated कि क्योंकि you are a wife-husband duo, do you find it hard or easy to dissociate business from personal life?
अगर वो ना 4 साल कोशिश किया करने का कि we need to have boundaries and work life is different and personal life is different. Now we've given up. Because वो possible ही नहीं है. Now we say कि अच्छा ठीक है, मतलब it is going to get in between, it's going to get into each other. रात को 2 बजे उठ के भी हम काम की बात कर रहे होते हैं कई बार. And now we've told ourselves it's absolutely okay because दोनों passionate हैं, दोनों enjoy करते हैं वो करना. It's not like we don't have fun. It's not like we don't have our moments together. But yeah, things do get into each other, and effort डालना कि ये separate होना चाहिए is futile. When you're together in life, in business, day in, day out, वो intermingle तो होगा.
And I think that's a very very wise thing to say कि इसको ना fight करना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी नहीं है, इसको accept करना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, and then you will easily find ways of maneuvering around it. The fact is the two of you have vowed to spend your life together through ups and downs. You are now business partners as well. So why the separation if both of you enjoy it? And
हम लोग enjoy करते हैं. I mean, if you go on my Instagram handle, a lot of comments lately have been, आप लोग काम कब करते हो? They don't see कि पूरे दिन में, 10 से 12 घंटे हम काम कर रहे हैं, and then I steal that half an hour, and we both of us love to dance, and we dance, right? Both of us love to do funny stuff around, spend some time with kids doing stuff, and I particularly, because Instagram, all said and done, is also a part of our business, right? We learn so much from it. It's not just fun. और जब आप खोलते हो तो क्या ट्रेंड कर रहा है, क्या ट्रैक ट्रेंड कर रहा है, and it sits in your mind because you're a person who loves dancing and music, right? So I get a lot of comments around, when do you guys work? Do you guys work at all or not? But what I will say is कि हमने ना figure out कर लिया है that perfect balance तो कभी भी नहीं achieve होगा. It'll always be कुछ दिन जो कि work पे बहुत heavy हैं, कुछ दिन जहां आप सिर्फ अपनी फैमिली को टाइम देना चाहते हो, possibly going out on vacation, etc. जब तक overall you're happy with the system that's working for you both professionally and personally, it's okay. Otherwise, work-life balance is a myth. It doesn't exist, especially when आप दोनों ही same चीज कर रहे हो, वो exist कर ही नहीं सकता.
So agree. Who manages your money today?
I manage my money myself.
Lovely. Just the answer I was hoping for. That is awesome. And does Varun manage it himself, or he manages it through you?
No, he manages it. That way we are independent. See, सब कुछ ठीक है, अपना पैसा अपना है. I get very uncomfortable. It is not okay with me कि मुझे अपनी ज़रूरतों के लिए किसी और से पैसे मांगने पड़े. I was not okay with it when I was living with my parents. I was not okay with it when I got married. मैं किसी से पैसे मांग ही नहीं सकती हूँ. और अगर मैं किसी से पैसे मांग नहीं सकती हूँ तो मुझे अपने पैसे खुद ही बनाने हैं. And I've always constantly been thinking about जिस भी situation में हूँ वहाँ पे कैसे पैसे कमाऊँ, उस situation में कैसे पैसे कमाऊँ, एटलीस्ट अपने खर्चे, अपनी desires मैं खुद fulfill करना चाहती थी. So I think I've always been very careful with, बहुत थोड़ा सा पैसा था, पर जो भी था उसके साथ बहुत careful, conscious around how to spend, where to spend, what are the kind of decisions that I should take. I've made a lot of FDs in my life, छोटे अमाउंट की, क्योंकि इतना अमाउंट तो था ही नहीं कि मैं ये सोचती कि अच्छा ये यहाँ जाएगा, ये यहाँ जाएगा, ये जाएगा. इतना सा पैसा था तो फिर वो लगता था कि अच्छा FD में डाल दो, क्योंकि अगर इंस्टेंटली कहीं से कैश चाहिए हो तो वो आप use कर सकते हो. And I'll be very honest, for the longest period of time, Ankur, I did not think about what to do with my money.
Which I think is true for a lot of people, and I think this mindset is a healthy mindset to have, Ghazal, क्योंकि बहुत बार लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि इन्वेस्ट कर दो, रातों रात पैसे डबल कर लो या कुछ मिल जाए, but we stop to lose sight of the fact that our potential to earn is technically unlimited. And if you have that mechanism built in some way or the other, you will always have someone helping you manage the money. But most people falter at making the money part itself, क्योंकि उन्हें लगता है कि सिर्फ सैलरी से ही बन सकता है और something which is fixed. Awesome. I love it. As we nearing the end, मुझे दो सवाल आपसे पूछने थे. पहला ये कि what has been so far the biggest splurge of your life money-wise?
My biggest splurge. I bought a car, the first car that I ever had at the age of 32. वो मेरी सबसे महंगी investment है.
Nice. Do you still drive it?
Yes, I do. अरे अभी तो खरीदी है. It's like 1.5 year old. उससे पहले कुछ नहीं था. So 1.5 year old, but did not take a debt, did not take a loan. That was the biggest thing. So मतलब तो I think वो full payment करके अपने पैसे से वो first car लेना has been my biggest splurge till now. That said, it's very difficult for me to splurge. I bought a Louis Vuitton bag about 8 months back, and it took me 6 months to convince myself that it's okay to buy.
Right.
It is okay. It is okay. But I can get it. I so relate to that.
But trust me, अंकुर, मतलब वो temporarily किया, खरीद भी लिया, but उसके बाद भी ऐसे लगा कि यार क्यों, मतलब why would you do that with your money when there are so many other things, good things that you can do with it.
Awesome. I want to end, Ghazal, with a quick rapid fire. 3 sawal. Whatever is the first one that comes to your mind, I'd love to get your responses. First one, pick between money and power.
Money. I think power comes with money. When you have money, power follows. But you can't have power without money.
Awesome. I totally get that. Number 2, what do you think will be your most expensive purchase in your life?
My house. So I'm not okay paying rent.
The dream of every family. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Absolutely. And third and final. This is a hypothetical question. Let's say I gave you $100 million today, or the option of knowing whatever is it that you know today, sare life lessons and all experiences, but you are now 20 instead of your current age. Which one would you choose?
Oh, that's a dream that I love comes true. I would love to go back to being my 20-year-old self and knowing what I know today. I could have made so much more money than the amount that you quoted. Oh my God. And early on, and still would have had some few young years left.
I love that. No, it shows. It just absolutely shows. When you sit and reflect, you're like, oh my God, itni sari galtiyan aur usse itne sare lessons. I wish I got a chance to go back. One final question, because I'm just very selfish and I'm greedy here. Now that you've gone through everything that you have, and of course, zindagi bahut aage aur bhi hai, but so far, one lesson that you wish you knew that when you were 20, like, gosh, mujhe ye pata hota, because this has been perhaps the costliest lesson to learn.
I think, taking a little more care of your time and spending it wisely, that is something that I wish I knew at that point of time, because I still feel, while I've had a very, compact years, I've always been doing something, but I still feel कि उसमें से भी ना कुछ चीजों पे मैं time better utilize कर सकती थी, and hence it would have helped me become a better version of myself. Possibly invested that time in getting higher education, learning a lot, reading books that I did not do until I was 28, 29. It's a recent habit that I've developed. अगर मैं तब से शुरू करती, imagine the amount of knowledge that I would have had today. I think I would, that's what I would want to do.
I love this takeaway. I love this takeaway, because it's just so applicable, one, to my audience who are very young, because the easiest thing to do when you're in your 20s, your late teens, is to think that you have so much time that you can waste it right now. But the hardest realization that hits us जब हम 30s में पहुंचते हैं कि काश जो वक्त चला गया उसको थोड़े अच्छे से यूज कर लिया होता. And I think the wisdom that you shared would only come in with that reflection. Thank you so much, Ghazal. You were so open. You were so candid with everything that you went through, the lessons that your parents have left you with, aapke apne experiences, and how you've shaped up so meaningfully. It is not a surprise to me that the country is in a wave of loving you. And all of you have done such a commendable job. This is me representing the startup community ki आपने genuinely स्टार्टअप को एक प्राइम टाइम कॉन्वर्सेशन बना दिया है, which is so endearing to see, क्योंकि एक समय था जब माँ बाप बोलते थे अरे एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप तो वो लोग करते हैं जिनको नौकरी नहीं मिलती. अब वही लोग बोल रहे हैं कि मेरा बेटा बेटी एंटरप्रेन्योर बनेंगे, स्टार्टअप चलाएंगे, because that is such a respectable thing to do. So thank you. Congrats on the success. Congrats on Mama Earth. Congrats on everything that you've done so far, and best wishes for all the things that are planned.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All the best, Ghazal. Bye. YouTube Shorts के लिए एक डेडिकेटेड चैनल लॉन्च किया गया है जिसपे आप सिर्फ वो 60 सेकंड के शॉर्ट्स देख सकते हैं. नो लॉन्ग फॉर्मेट कंटेंट टू कंफ्यूज यू, एंड होपफुली those 60 seconds will help you just as much as these long format videos do. सब्सक्राइब करिए, पिन कमेंट और डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक है to the Warikoo Shorts channel.